Hello and welcome back. It's episode 11 of the Drunken Brainwave podcast. I am Lee Wilcox.
And I am Adam Barry.
There's always a little bit of a delay, isn't there? And that's beautiful. Today we're talking on social media predictions 2021. We're both going to hang our hat on a prediction each and see if we can land it later on in the year. As normal, guys, if you're listening to this, please subscribe via Apple or through Spotify or wherever you're listening to your podcast these days. Please leave a review. We are going to be each week landing the Drunken Brainwave and also getting guests on, talking about social media, entrepreneurship, and general business shizzle. Business. This week is no different. We are going to be talking a little bit about the business, but mainly about social media predictions. So thanks for listening. Let's jump straight in.
That particular sex noise, from wherever they got it from. And I thought, imagine if some way it was just something else, and it may be like it was a brand, or it was, you know what I mean? I just thought, how many times has that been done?
Well, like it's like Coca-Cola.
Oh, I can't believe you've done it. You know, when we were kids, our mums would ring up. They'd watch it on TV. They'd ring up and they'd buy, you know, the next generation in mops.
Oh, I love a subscription. Love it.
You've got a subscription for detergent.
Yeah. And the topic today, Adam.
We're not live now.
No, we're not going live anymore, are we, mate? We're just recording it. It's
just shit. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. Let's do it. Go.
We're in separate homes, aren't we? And
yeah.
We're not going live anymore. We're just doing the recording. Otherwise, we'd be sat with each other, proper recording, but not live.
I thought it was going live on YouTube. That's my mistake.
No, not doing that anymore. So, start of the new year, new me, or new year, new Lee.
Oh wow! Is it New Year, new you though, Lee? Like, do you do that?
I feel no. I you know what? I'm not putting myself under too much pressure at the minute. Well, my personal life is all over the place in terms of like living arrangements and like routine and everything. Like we're living out of a room at the minute, so I'm not putting myself under too much pressure. But I feel very positive about the year ahead, even though, you know, there's a lot of like, you know, we're still in lockdown and all that jazz, but I do feel really positive about it. Got a baby coming in April, which I'm super excited about. We've got a house being done at the minute. Whilst that's a lot of upheaval for us at the minute, it's going to be great in a month. And I'm definitely going to apply myself to some sort of personal development. I filled out my, as you will well know, Adam, my development wheel at the start of this week, which I quite enjoyed sitting and doing actually. And I've got some time booked in, hopefully next week or the week after, with Gav, my coach, to sort of pick the top 3 things of that. And yeah, you know, one of them will be, I would imagine, out of the 10, hot priority will be my health and fitness. Yeah. So whether that's a new year, new me or not, I don't know, but I'm not doing it in the way where I'm like, I don't know, something that I'm going to give up in January. Do you know what I mean? It's not a New Year's resolution.
Yeah, no, I don't do them either. Mine was just to live more in the moment, because I've spent so much of my time chasing things. That's just like built in me. You know, when you start a business, you're always chasing that next thing, getting to that next level. And when we get to there, we'll do this. And when we get to, and you forget to enjoy the journey. And I do that in my personal life as well. I go, yeah, but when we get to there, we'll be able to go here and do this. Whereas actually, like, you know, strip all that away. You can have quality time with your family without going to Florida and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So no matter what I'm doing, as long as I'm with the people that I care about, I'm going to make that time count and live right now.
Do you think we've done well at like celebrating the like wins we've had? I don't say successes because I don't really. I mean, you can call it success, like success to us, I guess, rather than like, you know, outwardly like we're successful. But like, do you think we've done well at celebrating those, or do you think we've been too concentrated on the next win?
But probably the next win. Yeah, we very rarely. We don't really celebrate as much as we should do. Definitely not.
Shit eyes, isn't it? Really,
it is a bit, and I think it's important to celebrate the little wins. But the trouble is, when you're in a business like this that's new and you're constantly learning, you're constantly failing as well. So it's do you know what I mean? Like sometimes it kind of takes the win away, because yes, you're winning.
I swear.
Yeah, and you think, I don't deserve to shout about this because I'm fucking over there.
Yeah. But no, it's interesting because one of the first things I wrote down was about being more in the moment, like being more present was actually the wording I used, being more present. Because I think often I'm like half doing something and half doing something else. Like I'm at home with Ava and Cal and I'm doing something else, or I'm all right. Do you know what I mean? I need to like, one of the things I really want to concentrate on is just being a better dad, being a better partner. And I think actually the bulk of those, of me being better or feeling like I'm being better, and maybe Kelly and Ava thinking I'm better, is actually just being more present, you know, just actually when I'm there, being there, which sounds really easy, I guess, but if it was easy, I'd be doing it. It's not like I don't want to do it. I'm not like, whatever, you're boring. Yeah,
but this is the thing, Lee, is you get used to functioning in a certain way, and before you know it, a long time's gone by, and you're like, oh my God, like, actually, I didn't think I was that bad, but I have been. Like, that's been years of 80-20 the wrong way around.
Yeah.
And then to break out of that, it's really difficult. Just that, you know, it's really hard to break into a good routine and keep that consistent routine going. And I think that's because you're already like being consistent the other way, aren't you? So like, if you take like food, like for me, I've over the 12 months, I'd say I've done okay. But if you look back at the last 2.5 months, I've been dreadful. I've been consistently eating really bad food, and then, you know, put a bit of weight on, and then you're like, oh man, like just 9 months of like proper graft, and then threw it all away in that 2.5 months. And then I thought, I'll snap back out of it. It took me food poisoning to do that. I had to eat a dodgy oyster to like kickstart my health again. But I was really struggling to like go stop eating, and it was excessively eating. It was like eating breakfast, snacking in between breakfast and lunch, then having a big lunch, which was probably the size of a fucking dinner. Then I'd have a snack again. Then I'd go like, yeah, should we order something in? And then I'd eat 2 persons worth of Chinese food. It was quite bad.
Yeah, they've started calling me Lee the Bomber because I've just put on so much weight over Christmas. I hit the 14 stone club for the first time in my life, period. And that, like, I know, like you floated around 14 stone, but you're like way more like dense and muscly than me. And like 14 stone for me is like it's bad news. Like, it's not the same 14 stone. Yeah, I was a bit devastated about that. But like, yeah, but even though I've had like, you know, I put on weight and I'm like, I don't feel healthy at the minute, I still feel really like pumped and positive, and there's a lot of things to look forward to this year. And I'm predicting beautiful, wonderful things. And on predictions, Adam, as a theme into the podcast, I wanted to talk around like just social media predictions in general. So, you know, I think we do this a lot, don't we, at the start of each year, because we're at the end of each year, we're trying to predict what's going to happen next year based on, you know, trying to grow the business and what's happening with social, and we never really pen that down anywhere. So I thought it'd be a good time to talk about it. What do you think is, if you were going to like drive a prediction for social media of what's going to like land big, what would be your what would it be?
It's got to be. I wrote an article on this last week, Lee. Believe it or not. Yeah, I generally did. And it would be social commerce. Like that is where it's at for me in 2021. And I know it's not a new thing, you know, it's happening now. It's been happening for a while. But I just think if you look at the way the platforms are shifting, and they are all pushing people to be able to purchase within the apps, that is where their focus is. And I think the good thing about that is it's going to allow so many small businesses to do the same. So if you think about TikTok, let's use that as an example. Now they've already partnered with Teespring. They partnered with Shopify last year on a test phase in America. And I think Shopify's got like a million stores. But what this is going to allow people to do on TikTok is reach such a wide audience because the distribution's still sky high. It's like Facebook was 5 years ago. So when you can start putting content out and get people to buy your product within the app, they haven't got to go anywhere, and you're still getting like those insane figures on the views and the reach, then I can see people shifting a lot of product through TikTok. So if I was a small business, I'd be straight on TikTok thinking, how do I engage with my potential customers? Because that is coming in 2021, this year.
Yeah, we've been on about it for a while, haven't we? But it's not hit the mass. Do you think? How much do you think influencer marketing plays a part in the social commerce space? Because what I see at the moment is a lot of brands a lot of brand strategies are off in their like social commerce. They're not really doing it as a brand, but they're doing it through influence as the brand. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're reaching their audience through influencers. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and that's how they're doing their social commerce at the minute, because as a brand, they don't actually sell that well on. They do, but not in the way that we see the potential of it. So through lives, through like in-platform purchases, because that's not quite there yet. And that's what we're predicting is going to sort of like pop this year, is selling in lives, things like that. How much do you think brands are ready to utilize that themselves, or do you think they're not ready yet?
I think some are and some aren't. I think, you know, you can look at it across the board, and the people that were early adopters on social media and what you'd class as like ahead of their rivals, because a new platform will come about and they're the first ones on there and they're testing it and they're trying to sell products through it. I think they'll be fine. It's the same as any industry that you look at. There's always people that are looking at new avenues, and they're always looking at innovations and how they can integrate their business within those. So I think there will be, but they're few and far between.
Yeah. It's I think the social commerce space is something that will blow up disproportionately across in comparison to other things, and I think it'd be really interesting to see how lives play a part in that. I think if that rolls out properly, and TikTok and Facebook and Instagram do that well, and I guess YouTube as well, that premise now, we're live, we do a piece of content and we can go buy this product, and people click on it and pay for it and get it delivered without leaving the video. That is like, I mean, it gets me quite excited. This is a game changer, isn't it? It's
massive. It's massive. And, you know, you only got to look at QVC. And I say this all the time because I think it's, especially for our generation and older, I'm not sure if young people understand what QVC is, but it's a shopping channel, and it's an old school shopping channel that, you know, when we were kids, our mums would ring up, they'd watch it on TV, they'd ring up and they'd buy, you know, the next generation in mops. It's like some super mad mop or something. Do you know what I mean? There was like gadgets like that. But QVC are still massive. They're a billion pound business, turning over billions a year worldwide. I think their demographics like predominantly female, 35 to 60. But if you look at, especially if you look at on a budget for us, where you know, our community on a budget, very similar to that. But you got to be where the attention is, and the attention is on social platforms. And if you come across, you know, your favorite influencer or publisher, and they're doing a live show and they're talking through products that you can relate to, and they're at a discounted price, why wouldn't you? I honestly think it's going to be massive. I think it's going to be huge.
Yeah, agreed. My next one, right, is OnlyFans becoming mainstream and not about porn. So my thought process behind this is that you've got, like, I think we started to see, haven't we? It was Cardi B, wasn't it? He went on to OnlyFans, but you know, I would, without subscribing to it, I would assume that it's pretty provocative content based on who she is, her brand, and you know, it kind of fits the platform. But I think there's a space where, like, OnlyFans as Patreon, or Patron. How'd you say it? I always get that wrong.
Patreon.
In terms of its PR, because of the way that it grew, but I kind of feel like it was a smart way for that to happen. Yeah, people get PR and like mass press on being disruptive and, you know, sometimes naughty, and I think like all things that grow in a way that then have mass, they've got the ability to change their brand then and like do things differently. And I think because of the way the subscription model and the way that consumers are now willing to pay for exclusive content than they were 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I think the opportunity for celebrities, more mainstream celebrities, I think that it will cut through. You imagine like someone like Kim Kardashian or Dwayne Johnson, or like people who have got these like absolute like huge scale followings across social media, and that I've got fans that are like besotted by them. They're going to be able to drive fan base. Oh, we are. Jamie's dropping some stats in here. Listen to this. OnlyFans stats: 2 billion in revenue last year. So it's they grew creators 10x this year to 120,000. So it grew faster than Snapchat, Twitter, and Twitch without an app on the App Store. I mean, wow. That's scary, and it's because people are seeing the ability to earn. Because at that point, you only need, because of what content people are creating at the moment, it's easy for the mass to earn a living salary. Yeah, if you have got a face and body that people want to look at, and that you're willing to display that in all forms of media, then you can probably get 100 people paying you 15 quid a month to do it. So you then have 1,500 quid a month, and at that point you're starting to go, in the UK, if I'm living outside of London, like that's, if I'm a young person, I'm living with parents, or even if I'm living my own, you know what, actually I only need to get to 150, and I'm kind of like earning what I was earning when I had a job in a 9 to 5 somewhere. And then you start scaling that product and that brand, like that's there. But then think about that for people who've already got a following. So it works both ends, I think. And I think over time I think it will change on who they have on there and why. And exclusive content won't just be about titties.
No, it won't. But it's, you know, it's been happening for a while now. And the subscription thing, I look back, you know, I'm not tight at all, you know, but I don't know, like Lee's laughing, I'm not tight, but I really have to think about where I spend my money sometimes. And I remember having, like, I think the first subscription I ever got might have been Netflix. And I thought, okay, I've got my subscription now, as if it was just ever going to be one. I've got my subscription. And then like Amazon came along and it was like, you get Prime, and I was like, no, I ain't doing it now. You know, the selling point for that was actually the getting your stuff delivered in a day. You're like, oh, that was like the selling point. I was like, forget the films. I've already got that on Netflix. But then, anyway, then I subscribed to that. I was like, now I've got 2. You know, now I'm spending like 15 quid a month now on it. And then it just was like, wow, you've opened the gates now. So as long as I find I get value from it, I'll go and spend that money. But then when you've got the creators, you've seen it already. Look at Joe Rogan, exclusively on Spotify. Like, it's no different to that, really, is it?
Of course, it's not. Exactly the same thing. And I think people are willing to pay for things that they want and people that they like. And content is king, man. Like, people are willing to try and find it in as many places as possible as well now. Do you know what I mean? Like, I honestly thought that I wouldn't get Prime because I had Netflix. But I remember paying for Prime and being like, I can't believe I'm paying. And I had it when you didn't pay it on a monthly as well. I had it when you paid it up front. So
Right.
I had Prime before I had Netflix, right? I had Prime because of the postage, not because of the video. But I didn't realise I even got the video. So I had it, but I didn't watch it. And I'll be honest, I think Prime's interface is shit. I really don't like it. I think it's lackluster in comparison to like Netflix and Disney. But I have started to use it a bit more now. But that's only because we got Disney, and I think we had Now TV at one point. We had all 4. Like, we had Now TV, Disney, Prime, and Netflix. But then I've had like Spotify and Apple Music, both. Why? You don't need both. But I had Apple Music through EE, I think, for 3 months. And then it carried on, and I forgot about it.
Yeah.
And it's shit like that where I think collectively, I always used to look at it and be like, I ain't paying for Sky. It's a rip-off. If you want all the package, it's like 100 quid. But I guarantee it, you know, within the next year, I'll be at 100 quid on subscriptions because of all the different elements that we have. Like, we have milk and mutton subscription where I've got bread and milk coming every like 4 days. Great. I love it. We have like detergent on a subscription now. Because they like work out how many washes you how big the house, all that, and they deliver it at, and it's usually pretty bang on, like within a couple of days, give or take, and it comes through the door. Trying to think what else I've got. Oh, I love a subscription, love it.
You've got a subscription for detergent.
Yeah, like
that's insane. I've never heard of anything like it.
Smile, it's called. It's wicked.
I mean, that is madness, isn't it?
I was getting Kelly's subscription on flowers at one point, and I was like, still getting too much. This is that one.
Your subscriptions are definitely more than 100 quid a month.
I don't reckon they are. Because you think about it, it's like.
You got Sky?
No.
No, you ain't got Sky.
No. I won't get Sky. No,
if you did have Sky, it would definitely be over 100.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know why I don't get Sky is because I log in on the PlayStation through Mark Wilcox's and the Navi's Delta. So look, and that's where I think there's 2 things from the OnlyFans perspective, and like that becoming mainstream is one, it's the platform will grow up, and I think celebrities or well-known figures who aren't in the the game of suggestive content or explicit content will realize the power of subscriptions and just the opportunity for them to make money. Yeah. And 2, it's because consumers' habits are like well up for paying for subscription, and I just think super fans will do it. And if you're Dwayne Johnson or Justin Bieber or someone who's got like mental mass following on social, you don't need a lot of people paying 7 quid, 15 quid, 10 quid a month to start making something where you go like, that's great, that's ticking over, that is, and I've got more, I've got another revenue line here, and then you can start doing brand deals through your exclusive subscription. You've got 100,000 fans following you on OnlyFans. They're like massively engaged. I'd love to know what the rate of viewership is on content on that in comparison. Say you've got 100,000 subscribers. Out of that, what the percentage is of people watching stuff. Because if you're paying for it and you're a super fan, I bet it's so high. So then you can start going to brands and being like, I've got the most engaged platform possible. When I put content out, I have a 90% conversion on viewership. That in itself. And by the way, you can't go and get that group of people who love me. They don't exist anywhere else. You can only come through me.
Yeah.
That's really powerful. Like brands will start paying for that. So then you start getting branded content within subscriptions. Double bubble. Like, who doesn't want that?
So in a nutshell, what is the prediction? Just more brands?
No, that OnlyFans will have mainstream content creators on it. And by mainstream, I mean people not creating content with the dick and the tits out.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
That's my prediction.
I think there's two very, very solid predictions there. You know, the whole e-com bit, you know, social commerce with the lives, and OnlyFans. Yeah, let's hang our hats on that. We're going to do Gary V style flashbacks on that, Lee.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when Logan Paul joins OnlyFans or something like that, it would be like, boom.
That's what it'll be, and that's it. They're the ones who are primed, aren't they? The ones who are like YouTube famous at the moment, who have killed it on YouTube. They're so primed, but YouTube are doing that as well, aren't they? That's the thing. You've got that paid content creator thing through YouTube now as well.
I think this is the thing. Yeah, it's you've got Patreon. I hope we're pronouncing that right. I'm pretty sure it's Patreon. And then you've got it on YouTube. Then you've got it on Facebook. They've got their own ones where you can subscribe as well. So pay to subscribe. So yeah, then it's like, okay, well, where do I watch them? Where's the best place to sign up and get this exclusive content? Then I guess it's the platforms that we own it. Because I wonder if, I think like Lad Baby's got a subscription service on Facebook. I'm pretty sure about that, where they do exclusive content. But would there be? Is it exclusive to the platform, so they can't go and set themselves up on OnlyFans? They can't go and set themselves up on YouTube. Yeah. I wonder if that's the case.
I'm almost certain you can. Yeah. So then it's down to the creator and where they think they're going to earn the most amount of money. I think the problem you've got with the YouTube one at the moment, a little bit, is if you want to follow someone for exclusive content, on OnlyFans, then you got to pay for it. Yeah, you can't see any of it if you don't want to, unless they make. I think there's some bits where they can make it free, but whereas YouTube, the general.
Sorry about that. That was my daughter asking for a cup of tea.
But whereas YouTube, people are so used. I think the buying habits on YouTube from a subscription point of view is still not there. Just like they're not on Facebook, because there's so much free content. They can still watch that creator on there and still get all the content. And I still think there's because Mr. Beast has got it, hasn't it, on his. But I don't know the stats on that. It'd be interesting to see what the subscription stats are like on YouTube for like paid exclusive content. But I do think it will work on the platform. I just wonder who will get to the race, who will get to that finish line quicker, because like Spotify now they're like massively trying to like game the podcast industry, like doing what they did with Joe Rogan, and they've seen huge growth in the podcast game there. I think someone's got to take the subscription market for content creators, and I don't know who's. YouTube should be best place to do it, really, because they've got all the creators there. They're the ones who are making money. They're the ones who can afford to create the content for it. TikTok have got a great opportunity to do it, but I don't think they will. It's too early stage for them. And OnlyFans have got a brilliant brand for doing it, but they've only got content creators on there who are getting the dicks and the tits out. So I wonder, and Facebook I think have just missed. I don't know whether they were too early. The strategy was wrong. Facebook didn't pay creators well enough for them to stick around, and they kind of lost them.
Yeah, I think that there's big question marks over Facebook. I know obviously we do a lot of business through Facebook, but I mean, anyone new coming to that platform, it's probably the worst platform to try and establish a brand.
Because there's no strategy to it. Very simple, right? If I go to YouTube, as someone who wants to start growing a community or making money or what, I'm going there to create video and get followers. And I know that at some point I'll make money from it, from the platform. Very clear, yeah. TikTok, very clear. Portrait video, gaming, the growth of challenges and hashtags. Yeah, it's short. I know I'm over doing 15 seconds or 60 seconds. I know they've like started extending that and testing 3-minute content and stuff like that. Very clear. Snapchat, again, very clear, you know, in terms of what the product is. Portrait video that disappears. There's shows on there now that get commissioned. Like it's you know, a good product. Instagram, to a certain extent, still quite clear. I think they've started getting more messy because they're just adding things in that, you know, IGTV is still a bit of a basket case. The feed makes more sense. Reels is starting to do well, but, you know, it's just a carbon copy. But stories, you know, really clear, great. Facebook, fucking hell, like, tell me what you're meant to be doing as a business or as a content creator on there. You're meant to be creating long form content. You're meant to be building a group and trying to like create exclusive content or courses on there on how to do things. You're meant to be doing business pages and creating short form content. Like, is it a marketplace to sell things on, or is it e-com? Like, the stories on there, but you can only do anything. The stories, the technology and like products that you can do with the normal stories on Instagram. Like, it is a real mess. Like, it grew so big and it had all of the users on it, but then they lacked the strategy on what they wanted. They wanted it all. No, yeah. We want commerce, but we want stories, and we want video. But we also want the short form video that people, we don't really like it, but we can place ads on it. So let's just keep all that shit, that Wild West crap, short form, you've been framed content. Let's drive with that. Whereas in the background, other platforms were building things like YouTube, were building like paying creators to build long form, episodic, sticky content that people stay around for. And I think my prediction for Facebook, not this year, but I think it's going to be a world of aggregated content through groups. I think the users are going to be the powerful part of that, and it's going to be like breeding ground for social forums. That's how I see it, because I think the distribution of the feed at the minute, I think it's going.
I feel like my Facebook feed's broke at the minute, and it has been for a while, because if I get my feed up now, I'll do it now as an experiment, but all I seem to see is the same stuff that I've been seeing for like probably the past week. I very get any like new content. So, and very rarely from creators. Now, obviously, now I've said that, the first one on here is from a creator, but that was Aussie Man Reviews 9 hours ago. And I haven't seen that post. Oh no, I have seen that post because I've liked it. So I've seen that. And then the next one down is your missus, Kelly, saying, happy birthday to you. I've seen that one. The next one down, I've seen it. The next one down, I've seen it. That one's 19 hours ago. Advert. Next one after that, 1 day ago, seen it. I've seen them all. I think there's something like...
We've experienced this, haven't we, as a publisher, that there have been massive distribution problems through Facebook for about 2 months. It looks like it's just about starting to resolve itself. Yeah. But I think they've got a massive issue with, because, you know, like Aussie Man Reviews, fair enough, okay, you class as a content creator, but I would actually class him as a publisher.
Yeah, I guess.
You know what I mean? Because he puts out UGC and talks over it. You know, he's a comedian, but through a publishing brand, really. Like, whereas, you know, your Logan Pauls, your YouTubers, yeah, your Mr. Beast, they might have channels on Facebook, but that's not where they're creating for. They're on YouTube and TikTok. That's it. And Facebook's this thing that they post content to stay alive on it, in case in case it resolves its problems. Facebook is for businesses and brands, not content creators, because they made that decision. They made the decision to not pay them, and
yeah,
they're fucking left.
And you only get the top.
Boys.
Yeah, you only get the top probably 0.5% of content creators that can actually make money on there, and no one else is. Let's be honest. Look at how many views we have to generate to make good revenue from in-stream ads on Facebook. And we've got the luxury, not the luxury, but we can put a lot of content out. It's very difficult for content creators to put in 3 or 4 videos out a day.
Oh yeah, like it ain't happening. Yeah, they're just not doing that, and hence why they don't do it. And you know that I think the difference is that the currency doesn't work. So the equivalent views in Facebook are not the same as the equivalent views in YouTube. Yeah. 1 million views on YouTube on a video is worth way more than 1 million views on Facebook. However, if you've got the setup we've got to be able to distribute hundreds of millions of views, then there's money to be made. But still, there's way more money to be made through branded content than there is through ad breaks and in-stream. But I think, look, I don't think it's the prediction for this year, but I think for next year, and maybe the year after that, I don't know. But I honestly think Facebook is going to become or part of it, a big part of it, because it is a monster, so it can carve different parts of itself out. But I think a big part of it is going to be this this world of debate and the forum and sharing ideas than it would be about you know, your friends and family updating each other and video content distribution. I just can't. They've got some real, they've got mountains to climb to catch up with YouTube from video perspective. Just, yeah, they're so far behind.
Agreed. What's Mark Zuckerberg going to do? He needs a new platform to come along so he can rip it off.
Yeah, we'll try and buy it. Yeah, it needs a whole design overhaul. That's its problem. It's not fit for purpose anymore. They need to decide what they want from it. Whereas it's becoming, the thing is, it's become so big that it's got uses for everything. And sometimes that's not a good thing. Where, you know, and it's like actually the brands that perform well on there are niche, like ours, like On the Tools, on a budget, carved out, work really well. The ones that haven't done so well are the ones that just went mass. And it's the same thing. Facebook's getting to that point now where it's like doesn't really know what it is anymore.
Yeah, I'd still from an advertising perspective though, it's definitely like the best out there in terms of like bang for your buck.
For brands, that's what I'm saying. It's a brands and business platform. Yeah, it's not for content creators or individual creators, influencers. It's not there for that. But if you've got a brand and you want to advertise to someone and sell something, fucking Jesus Christ, it's an absolute beast. It's and it works for look, it's working for us. I love the platform in that sense because we've built communities on there that we can distribute content to. But we're a publisher and we're a brand. It's not Lee and Adam trying to do it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And it'd be a very different place if we were trying to do it. We wouldn't spend our time on there. Hence, we don't. Like, we create content for YouTube because you know, it's not going to be the right place for Facebook. So I think they've got a lot of work, but they've got a huge opportunity. They've still got the most amount of engaged users than any other platform. So, you know, doing something right. Oh, you've gone on mute.
Yeah, Nevaeh, come right up to me then. Sorry. Obviously, if you listen to the podcast, we're still working from home. So, you know, I've got 3 kids, missus, cat, dog, all working around me. This is their house, not mine. I'm in their environment. So I don't feel like I can be like, shut up, keep the kids away from me. I do give Lorna cues though. I do say, look, I'm on a podcast. You know, try and keep the kids away from me. But she's busy doing dinners and stuff. So, yeah.
Look, I think we're coming to an end anyway. I don't know. I don't know where Jamie is. He tends to sometimes pop in.
Pop up. Yeah. I tell you what. One question I've got. actually. Oh, Jamie's gone. He popped up and then went again. One question I've got is, which platform are you excited by this year, 2021? Because mine changes, and I think most people do. If you work in social media, you get kind of addicted and almost obsessed with certain platforms over the years. And we've been in this for like just over 6 years. And mine's definitely gone from one to the other. What's yours? I'll tell you what mine is after.
So mine is, I've got to pick one.
What's the one platform this year that you're really excited about?
I'm going to throw a curveball in here. I don't think mine's Snapchat.
Really?
Yeah, because I think they've got their offering worked out for the first time in ages, and I think they're being super strategic in terms of where they're putting their money and what brands they're getting on to create content and the shows they're creating and the CPM. So from a business point of view, Snapchat. From a user point of view, all of them. I love all of them for different reasons. Probably TikTok, I would imagine, from a user perspective, because I think there's going to be loads of updates.
Yeah, love it. Love that. Mine's YouTube. I'm obsessed. I'm like fully obsessed with YouTube, Creator Studio, and I'm really enjoying learning about it, and I'm really enjoying me and you creating content for our YouTube channel. Lee and Adam, please subscribe, go and check it out. And the more content we put on there and the more analytics we get to look at, the more obsessed I've become with it. So I'm like, This is insane. From a business point of view, I'm probably more interested. It's a very difficult one because YouTube is in there from a business perspective. But TikTok, I think the power we've got on TikTok to be able to push an audience over and get them to do something is insane. And I've already seen it this week. We've only started doing some tests this week. Straight away, we're seeing an increase in subscribers and followers on other channels. So I'm really excited to see what we can do from TikTok, because it's still got that beautiful, free, organic reach that you used to get, that Mark Zuckerberg used to give out like to everyone. And then he just started slowly taking it away from everyone and was like, no, you've got to pay. But you don't get that on TikTok, so make the most of it.
Yeah, I think from a business point of view, I'm excited about each platform for different reasons. So like Facebook, live and live shopping, social commerce, ad breaks to a certain extent if they sort the shit out. If they don't, fine. I think we've got some different players there. Groups, still overly excited about groups for Facebook. Snapchat, commission shows, and just high growth. YouTube, we've got a good stable position in terms of on the tools. We've got loads of growth ahead of us. We're on a budget. We're going to start making money on YouTube this year, which is great. And we'll start doing brand deals. TikTok, like you said, which has got massive high growth through all of the channels, really, and a good place to start from a ministry of perspective and also from an on the tools one. Instagram is probably the one I'm least excited about. I think it's a saturated platform, and like at the moment, really like pretty shit from a monetization perspective. They've not monetized well at all, and I think that's why they're seeing creators disappear again as well. Facebook are just bad at paying creators. It's just the reality of it. They're just not very good, are they? They don't take the advantage. Imagine if they'd started paying creators on stories before TikTok came, it would have been so much harder to prize people across to TikTok, because all really TikTok was offering at that point was high growth in numbers, which is quite appealing, right? But it's only appealing when you're not getting paid on a platform you've got high growth in numbers on. If you're getting paid on that, money talks, man. Like, you don't move, and they didn't do it again in time, and then they're like, now that like dickheads bringing reels out, and it's working to a certain extent, but the amount of content I watch on reels that's got the TikTok watermark on is embarrassing. Like, it's still a TikTok driven content machine. Like, it's
shameless, isn't it? And you know what? Like, we had we had a chat with Facebook at one point, and then when there was it was a webinar or something, whatever it was, and they were explaining this new feature they were bringing out, and I don't know how they kept a straight face when they were explaining it on the webinar, because every single person who tuned into the webinar was just looking at it thinking, this is TikTok. Like, is this serious? It was almost like it was almost unbelievable. And they just went, yeah, this is what it is. It was TikTok, but it was called Reels. And I think that for me made me almost like dislike it a little bit. But as someone in marketing, I'm like, actually, Reels are pretty good. You know, you can get some pretty good distribution.
Some numbers out of Reels. Don't get me wrong. From an on the tools perspective, there's been some belters on there, hasn't there? I think Jamie just put in here, how smart is that TikTok watermark? I mean, it is, isn't it? It's like positioned perfectly. You can't get that off.
Yeah. Do you know what I thought the other day? This is a funny one, right? Because I always think about how you can make money on things, or missed opportunities as well. And I sent a meme to you, Lee, and the lads in the group chat, and it was, do you know when you open a video up and it says, "Oh mate, watch this," and you will start watching the video, and then that really annoying sex noise comes up on the video.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna try and recreate that sex noise, but that sex noise comes up, and I thought, I wonder how many times that's been played, that particular sex noise, from wherever they got it from. And I thought, imagine if some way it was just something else, and it may be like it was a brand, or it was, you know what I mean? I just thought, how many times has that been done?
Well, like it's like Coca-Cola.
Oh, I can't believe you've done it. But yeah, like that. I just thought that is like, that's huge. That is how many times that's been sent around and people fell for that. It's brilliant.
But it's like what and an interesting thing I was reading the other day, like what is happening with Giphy, you know, the GIF app, yeah,
yep.
Where like brands are building out memes as like brand growth. So I think it was Gymshark, and they were saying that they'd had like 150 million views of their like GIFs that they'd built specifically for Gymshark, and it got me thinking. I wonder whether there'll be like. It's really interesting because I've not really thought about that, but there's some real power in creating GIFs that get distributed through group chat, isn't it? You know, like WhatsApp and Messenger. Like that's the home of GIFs for me, is anyway. That's where I consume most of mine, and where I'm more likely to share them from as well. I wouldn't share. Very rare that I'll share like a GIF or like meme based thing on social.
Share a lot on Instagram stories, a hell of a lot.
Yeah, admittedly, yeah, I would on there as well. But on WhatsApp, I love getting them in a WhatsApp chat because they feel more. They're funnier because they've got more context. They're funny because they've got more context to them, because they're part of someone's joke. And often they're part of someone's joke that's ripping someone else in that group. So it's funnier. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I get it. We actually, funny enough, because Josh Bernai tagged me on LinkedIn this week and said, "What do you think about this? Like, you know, about using like GIFs, you know, as part of campaigns." I'm like, already a step ahead here. We had a meeting this week around GIFs and like AR filters, because we feel that we can start including those in campaigns. And I started thinking it when we done the preps for the Christmas bonanza thing that we done for the works too. So part of that was we created everyone's pretty much everyone in the business. They had their own GIF as part of this story that Beth, creative lead, read out. And I thought, I loved that. I love seeing everyone's faces on these GIFs. And I thought, isn't it great that we've made and then I thought, actually, like, we could definitely start utilizing this as an avenue for creatives. And like you said there, you know, if you can get the popular search term right, or the image right, or the GIF, and you can add some branding in there, people just start using it organically. And before you know it, you're getting that brand awareness without even really trying.
Because, you know, you utilize good GIFs, humorous GIFs, yeah, for like product launch, and it's somewhere it's got the brand within it. It's really subtle, but then that GIF gets used for other means. You know, yeah, I mean, like, you know, all these ones are like stepping into Monday, like, you know, finishing at 5 on Friday, like, you know, and it's all these different things that get used for those. So it's about being smart on what can get created, and I think there's real money to be made in branded content through the creation and like distribution of gifts and like their positioning in creative and brand campaigns. I really think that. So I'm like really happy that you're already ahead of that and that there's meetings going on in the business about it, because it's not something we've spoken about.
There you go.
I think we should wrap up. It's been a beautiful podcast based on predictions. Hopefully, I think we've got one each, haven't we? As you know, main things that we'll hang our hats on. Yours being social commerce. So, in particular, what you're talking there, like live selling and like.
Yeah, so I'm TikTok in the app. You know, their move with Shopify is a massive statement, isn't it? Their partnership with Shopify. So they'll be selling like direct through the app, and then yeah, Facebook lives. That's the one. And when I say Facebook lives, I mean you don't have to leave the live. So at the minute, and also let me just caveat this, because someone else has done it before, and I don't mean on desktop either. Yeah, we're not all walking around with our laptops and PCs, walking around with our phones. So it's been done on a desktop where you can purchase in the live, but that's no good when, you know, 90+% of us consume content on Facebook through our mobile phones.
So very specific. This is through Facebook Live, in the live, on a mobile.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, if you land that, mate, you've that's not predicting coronavirus next. And then my one is that somebody mainstream will start creating content that isn't dicks and tits, and it like full like normal content, just exclusive content. Someone like a Jake Paul or Dwayne Johnson or a Justin Bieber, or like just someone mainstream. Yeah, that's my thing.
Well, thank you very much for listening to that and our predictions. Please, as always, don't forget to leave a review. And if you haven't subscribed already, what are you doing? And head over to our YouTube channel, Lee and Adam, and subscribe over there. We've got lots more content coming out. I've been Adam Barry.
I've been Lee Wilcox.
See you next week.
Laters, taters.